Hey guys, since I already have too much stuff going on, I got a 3D printer.
3D printer?
But let's get to it. Hey, welcome back. We're going to build the Ender 3 by Creality, which is a 3D printer, which I knew nothing about until I built this one. So let's see how it goes. I just unpacked all this stuff and got to it. Made sure all the pieces were there that were supposed to be there before I really got going. Flipped over the bed to make sure and adjust all of the wheels and I don't know all the terms, I guess. But yeah, I was just adjusting everything to make sure that it was, tight, and the wheels have eccentric spacers that you can adjust so they can be tighter or looser onto the aluminum extrusions. So I definitely went through all of those and made sure that it wasn't too tight and it wasn't loose and janky on there either. All of these is kind of the same deal. I made sure everything was, at a 90-degree angle, squared up, and I ended up measuring these pillars on the top and the bottom and re-tightening them or undoing them and retightening them a couple of times just to make sure that they were straight. And so far this printer has printed wonderfully, so I haven't had any issues with the build quality. There is one part that failed. It's made out of plastic and it really should be made out of metal. Just attach the LCD screen. There's a ribbon cable in the back that plugs into pretty easily. There's the power supply. Just screws in. Everything's pre-drilled. All the tools are there. This is the Z-axis. Now it was time to start working on the gantry. I think that's what it's called. You see what I mean? Like I don't even really know what it's called, and I still put it together. So you could definitely do this. All this was the same deal, adjusting everything, just like testing things, and again, I didn't really know what I was doing exactly, so the instructions are easy enough to follow. And then, like I said, there's a lot of YouTube videos. This is not a tutorial, obviously, but there are a lot of tutorials that are a lot longer and go into more depth than just watching somebody do it really fast. But yeah, this is just what I'm up to right now, so I'm sharing that. But I would highly recommend this. Like, this isn't something you'd like buy your Aunt Brenda for Christmas necessarily, but if you like working with your hands and you're just kind of into DIY anyways, then these are like fairly priced, and I think just about anybody could really do it. you had to kind of fish those belts through, but they already had a place to attach, and then there was some tensioning mechanisms on there that were pretty straightforward to use. Time to put that top bar on, and again I'd already measured and remeasured to make sure this is all kind of squared up. Time to assemble the filament holder that will screw into the top of the printer. Just sometimes if you just stare at it for a while, you figure it out, I guess. This Creality, this version of the Ender 3, I got, they have a pro version, and I think there's a couple steps that you can get, and I got the lowest one. I got the cheapest and lowest, so it definitely requires some upgrades, some of which I've already done, and I'll share. And then, wiring this thing up was pretty self-explanatory. There was color-coded and labeled, and I really had no trouble at all wiring it up. Wire management is definitely an issue as far as you kind of gotta, get things out of the way, and I end up finding a 3D printed solution for some of the cable management, but then otherwise, just zip tying in the right areas and kind of being smart about where the stress points are probably going to be and just keeping things out of the way. That was a filament tube that I plugged in right there, which that's another tube, another upgrade that I'll be doing soon, I think. And then once it was all wired up, it was time to plug it in and power it up for the first time. Leveling the bed, this is actually the trickiest part of the whole process. This actually ended up taking me about 2 days to finally get to print, and it's not really because it's difficult, it's just because I'm a moron, and so it took me a while to just kind of understand exactly how to do it properly. But once I figured it out, it's kind of a breeze. So I've mostly used PLA as material, and I've been running at about 205 degrees. I've also used another filament called PETG or PETG. The reason I got it is because it's UV resistant, and I needed to print some parts for a farm bot. You can Google that if you don't know what that is. But yeah, and it's a little bit higher temperature. And anyways, for the most part, I've done most of my learning off of on PLA, and it seems pretty easy to use. So now it's time to do a test and see if the bed is level. Like I said, it took me about 2 days. Not like 48 hours of trying to level it, but you know, I have a life. So in between everything else, it took me about 2 days of fiddling with this thing before I got it to print. Here is the first print. And here it is in real time. So once it's done, you just pop it off. You can take the build plate off, and it's flexible, so you can bend it a little bit and it'll loosen it up. And then you have a metal spatula that you can scrape them off with also. So this is a fan shroud for this design flaw, I guess, as it appears, where otherwise bits of plastic eventually get down into this fan and then maybe melt into your electronics inside of that box. So I don't know if this is the best design. I did not design it. I'm hoping it doesn't restrict the airflow too much, but so far it's been great and hasn't been a problem whatsoever. So I think it's a win. So there is a electric pencil sharpener that wasn't working. When you hit the switch with the pencil, the motor would run, but once you stuck the pencil inside, it stopped running. This broken gear, this gear was missing some teeth, which ended up being the problem. So I modeled it in Shaper 3D on my iPad. I did not record the process of modeling that one because I just didn't think that far ahead. And then I was too lazy to model that many teeth again, so I did a simpler version. This is basically the exact same process I took to model that one, but I just had to use a calculator to get the specific math right, and there was a lot more teeth to duplicate. I was already thinking making gears. I'm going to do some experiments with gears because it'd be great material to make gears for automata. And this Shaper 3D software would probably be good software to kind of design the mechanisms completely. I will go into further detail in another video about the process of modeling stuff in Shaper 3D. I'd also really already like to get a bigger 3D printer like the Creality CR10, or I don't even know. I'm sure there's just bigger ones than the one that I have, but I would like to get one, and I want to get one. Yeah, so here's the one I made with the correct number of teeth. Once you have your 3D model ready to go, you export that as an STL file. You can open that in Cura or any other slicer that's compatible with your printer. And basically what a slicer does is it explains to your 3D printer layer by layer where to extrude the filament. And you can see that took an hour and 20 minutes. And now that it's printed, just do a install. There she is. Put it back together and let's see if it works. So here's just a few of the things that I've made so far, and some of these I modeled, some of them. There's a couple of these that I modeled as practice. Otherwise, a lot of this stuff I've been able to use, like the Oculus Quest mounts. But yeah, have a lot more projects that either revolve around 3D printing or will use 3D printing in the pipeline. So very much look forward to sharing all of those, and just excited about sharing my experience with 3D printing as it unfolds, and specifically this 3D printer, because again, I'm very, very pleased with this and how easy it was to get started. of this one. Here's the cable chain that I printed out to help manage the cables. And, oh, what the? All right. Seriously though, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.